Good morning, grade 5, 6s. We're so happy you could join us today. My name is Amy, and I work for the Saskatchewan Council for International Cooperation. And I used to be a teacher, and it's funny because I taught grade 5, 6 in Kenya a few years ago. Does anybody know where Kenya is?
2 years away.
It's a long ways away. You're right. It's a country in Africa. And I taught grade 5, 6 there, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was so much fun. So I know that grade 5, 6 is a fun time. I can attest to that. So we're excited to have you today. Before I introduce our presenter, I'm just going to start us off this morning with a land acknowledgement. And the purpose of a land acknowledgement is to start our time together in a good way. We want to acknowledge the land and its importance in our lives. We need to acknowledge that it does matter how we relate to the land, to be aware of what we are doing and our impact on the earth. I want to acknowledge that in Saskatchewan, we are on treaty land. These treaties serve to govern our relationships with Indigenous peoples. In Regina, we are on Treaty 4 territory, which is the traditional territory of the Nehiyawak, Nakaway, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota peoples, and the traditional homeland of the Métis. It is important that we recognize that we all have benefits and responsibilities under these agreements. We must move beyond acknowledgement to building relationships. We must commit to learning and decolonizing our minds and our lives. We dedicate our efforts to working together in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. We are all treaty people. All right. I am going to introduce Carolina to all of you. So Carolina is CODE's Mozambique project officer, and she has extensive experience in education as a former teacher and academic coordinator in Brazil, which is her home country. Carolina came to CODE from the Manitoba Institute of Trades and Technology, where she assisted newcomers in language and employment training. So I'm going to hand it over to Carolina for her presentation.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's very nice to be with you this morning. As Amy mentioned, I work at CODE. So CODE is a Canadian nonprofit organization, and I'm talking today from Ottawa. Okay, so I'm pretty distant from you guys. And CODE was formed in 1959. So it's been a long time we've been around. And since then, we have helped more than 10 million children to learn better. So our goal is to provide children and kids just like you in different parts of the world to learn better, okay? First of all, do you have any idea of where Mozambique is? Is it in Asia, Europe, Africa, Central America? So let's do it this way. Who thinks Mozambique is in Asia? Raise your hand. No? Who thinks it's in Europe? No? Who thinks it's in Africa? Everybody? Not everybody. Who thinks in Central America?
In Mexico.
And who doesn't think at all? Because I didn't see all.
You literally
all right, so actually Mozambique is in Africa, okay? Is in the sub-Saharan Africa. Now, you can you all see the map I'm showing? Yes. So all the colored part is Mozambique. Okay. So Mozambique is shaped like a Y letter. And all this colored part is the country of Mozambique. It's a big country, okay? It's just a little bit bigger than the province of Saskatchewan, but the population is almost the same as Canada. So in Mozambique, there are 30 million people, whereas in Canada, all Canada, 38 people. So imagine 38 million people. So imagine the 30 million people in the province of Saskatchewan. It's a lot of people in this area, okay? The capital is down south in Maputo. That's the capital of the country, okay? And there are larger cities too, like Beira, which is on the coastline, Tet, more central. As you can see, the coastline is very extensive. It's like 1/3 of this coastline, of the Africa coastline by the Indian Ocean, is formed by Mozambique, okay? The Mozambique is also, the weather there, it's hot, but it's not hot all the time, as we imagine, right? That all countries in Africa are hot countries all the time. No, July, for example, it's their winter time, and it can get as cold as 10 to 15 degrees, okay? Which for us is not that cold, but for them, it's cold. So they can have some mild temperatures there too, okay? Any questions? Yes, one question?
How hot does it get?
Oh, nowadays, for you to have an idea, I spoke with my colleagues in Mozambique yesterday, and she was telling me it is 44 degrees Celsius right now, because it's summertime for them. So yes, this time of the year, for us, it's very cold in Canada, but for them, it's their summertime. So it's pretty warm, okay? Now, speaking about language, what language do you think is the main language spoken in Mozambique? Who thinks is Portuguese? Raise your hand. Who thinks is Spanish? No one? Swahili? Oh, one person thinks it's Spanish? Swahili. Swahili? Oh, okay. And French. Who thinks the people in Mozambique speaks French? So I think I'm going to surprise you now, because in Mozambique, they speak Portuguese as their main language.
I expected that so much.
But not only Portuguese, okay? So in fact, the country has more than 19 dialects. So remember the map I showed you before? So for example, in the south area, there is one distinctive dialect that they speak in the south. There is another one that they speak around the center of the country, and up north, they speak different dialects. But the main language is Portuguese, okay? And I will try to teach you some words in Portuguese now, because Portuguese is my first language. English is my second language. I come from Brazil, and I speak Portuguese as people in Mozambique, okay? So let's try to say some words in Portuguese now. So hello in Portuguese, when we want to say hello to someone, we say oi. Can you say with me? Oi. 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 Easy. Easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Now, when we thank someone, we have two ways of using the word thank you in Portuguese. You can say obrigado or obrigada. Now,
Obrigada.
obrigada. Yes. So the first one ending with an O, the boys would think like that. So for boys, they think saying obrigado. For girls, they say obrigada. Okay? So let's try. Boys, just the boys. Obrigado. Excellent. Good pronunciation. Now the girls. Obrigada. Perfect. Are you sure you don't know how to speak Portuguese? Awesome. Okay. Goodbye is pretty easy too. Goodbye, we say ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Books, we say livros. This is a tricky one. Livros. Excellent. And school, we say escola. Escola. So let me see if you really learned. How do you say goodbye in Portuguese? How do you say thank you? The girls saying thank you. And the boys, how do they say thank you? How do they say school in Portuguese? And books? Livros. And hello? Oi. All right. Excellent. You guys are awesome. Okay. Now, I think this one is a little bit more difficult to guess. I'm not sure. Let's try. Now you're going to try to find the flag of Mozambique. Okay, so we have flag letter A, B, C, and D. Who thinks Mozambique flag is letter A? Raise your hand.
I can't see. I can see
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who thinks it's letter B? Okay, B. 2 votes for B. Okay. Who thinks it's letter C? Oh, okay, nice. Who thinks it's letter D?
I saw it on my map yesterday.
I saw it there.
Okay, so do you know which country is flag letter A?
Germany.
Very good. Letter B?
Thailand.
Thailand?
South Africa.
South Africa? Letter C?
China.
Letter D?
Mozambique.
So you were almost correct. Almost. Okay? It's letter B. Letter D is Uganda. It's another African country, but not Mozambique. Okay? So that is the Mozambique flag. Now, there are some interesting things in the Mozambique flag that we don't see very often in other countries' flag, okay? So let's take a look at some of the images represented in this flag, okay? Can you tell me one thing that you can see that calls your attention? Yes?
Star.
A star. Why do you think there is a star on the flag?
Because they're up high. It's over the high. Lots of mountains.
Yes, one hand is up.
Yes. I think maybe because the stars can directly something.
Can you speak a little bit up? I couldn't hear you very well.
Maybe it's because the stars at night you can they help you navigate.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. Okay. One more.
Maybe because it's on the coast. Is it like the country that's on the coast?
On the coast? All right. Actually, all your answers were very good and very logical. But in fact, the flag there represents the international solidarity, helping people internationally. That's what the star represents to them. Okay. And what else can you see on the flag? Yes, at the back. Somebody raised the hand at the back. Yes.
There are colors. There's 4 colors.
What?
There's 4.
The stars are different colors. Then there's a little slit.
There's already yellow.
And there's a little white.
There's 4 colors.
He's saying the 4 colors.
Oh, the 4 colors? Yeah, no, but we are talking about the objects. I need one more object. Yes.
Okay, Ibrahim?
It looks like a gun.
Yes.
That's a big
Gun, right? Why do you think there is a gun on their flag?
War.
War?
Maybe to
Yes, there is a girl with a black mask.
maybe to represent like war or something.
War, okay. Another girl at the back.
Maybe it's because of their strong military.
The
She says strong military.
strong military. Okay. Yes. So the flag represents the strength to defend themselves. Okay. But some people there, so there is people in Mozambique that doesn't think that the gun entirely represents the peaceful country that they want to be. Okay, so some people actually they want to take this gun off the flag because of that. It is indeed a peaceful country. There are problems, but what it represents is that their strength to defend themselves as a country. Okay, there are 2 more objects on the flag. Can you tell me? Yes.
An eye?
And
It looks like an eye.
this one here?
Is that a girl?
Yeah, a hole?
Star.
Here, Maria?
Yeah.
Is there a book?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a book. Good, there is a book. And why do you think there is a book in Mozambique?
We have good schools.
Yes.
Mosen, why do you think there's a book?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Yes, very good. Yes, so the book represents the importance of education. Okay, and Mozambique's population is it's a very young population. Most of the population is formed by young people under the age of 20. Can you believe? So it's a very young country in terms of its population. And indeed, education is very important if they want to develop as a country. And the last object is a hoe or a pickaxe. And what do you think this object represents? What do we use this object for? Yes, right here in the front with the black mask.
Maybe like to show that they have good farming and mining areas.
Mining, yes. And actually, agriculture, okay? So it represents the importance of agriculture in the country, as we are going to see, okay? Now, because of the time, and you guys did awesome, okay? I really liked your participation, but I'll have to move on to the next slide. So Mozambique is a very beautiful country. And here I want to show you some beautiful pictures of Mozambique, okay? So as you can see, the ocean, the beach, very beautiful. We have this tall tree. Do you know what's the name of this tall tree? The baobab.
Yes.
Baobab.
It's like
Baobab.
It's like you use it for this for like to make. Don't they use it to make like rice, like couscous or rice sometimes? In
To be honest with you, I don't know, but it represents like this type of tree you can find in several countries in Africa, and it's a distinguished tree because it looks like the tree is upside down, like the roots are on top, but actually they are not roots, they are the branches. It's just the way that they look. And in Mozambique, you have one of the biggest baobabs and oldest, and these trees, they can live for many years. Okay, down here we have a picture representing Maputo, the capital. So it's modern city with a skyscraper and lots of resources. We have also arts and crafts from Mozambique, the rural areas of Mozambique too, lots of agriculture around the country as well. So there are many nice things about the country, and yet there are challenges too, okay? And today we are going to be focusing on education, and I'm going to share with you some photos of Mozambique, and you have a chance to let me know what you think, okay, about these photos. So in this first one, we are going to have an exercise now. You're going to tell me, what do you see that it's similar to your school, and what do you see that it's different from your school, okay? So in this first picture, for example, can you tell me something that it's the same in your school and in this Mozambican school? So can you tell me something that it's similar to your school in this picture? Yes, right in the middle. There is a girl in the middle.
there's a teacher and there's kids.
Teacher and kids and a student. Is there any other thing that it's similar? Yes, at the back.
Me?
Yes.
Both of you take a turn. Okay. There's a board.
Okay.
They're learning.
Excellent. Yes, they are learning. And can you tell me something that it's different? Who hasn't participated? The girl wearing glasses?
Which one, me?
Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah.
I think she's on one.
No, Rena already participated.
Oh,
Okay, Yom, you can share something. They're learning
Your
outside.
teacher can select. Your teacher can select.
They're learning outside.
Yes, they are learning outside. Okay.
Okay, Uzair.
They're not wearing uniforms.
Okay, he said they're not wearing uniforms, and at our school.
They are not, yes,
uniform.
they are not wearing uniforms.
Patty?
They're learning outside.
Okay, they're outside, yeah. Ola?
They don't have desks or chairs.
No desks, no chairs. Another thing that it's similar, can you see that they are wearing masks just like you are?
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, so COVID is everywhere, right? So the same way that you go to school and you wear masks nowadays, they do the same. Okay, I'm going to show you the next picture, okay? And then we do the same thing. What do you see that it's similar and what's different? Okay, what's similar from your school? Right at the front here. Oh, boy.
They have walls and desks.
Okay, in this one, there are desks. Okay, they are inside.
Yeah, see? Oh, he's wearing a mask.
Wearing masks, just like you guys. Yes.
Ola?
There's a teacher.
The teacher is helping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Teacher is helping the student.
Yeah.
And things that are different from your school.
Mohammed? The wall is cracked.
The wall, it needs painting, doesn't it? Yeah, it needs painting.
Hashem? No?
The window.
I like the desks a lot.
Like they're different from ours.
Yeah, the desks are different. Maybe bigger. The windows, right?
Yeah.
The windows. Are there any arts and crafts on the walls?
We don't have one.
Any art?
Yeah.
I don't see any. No, they don't.
We have,
It looks like.
What about school supplies? Do you think there are lots of school supplies?
I mean, there is. I mean, he's holding a pen. Is that a chalk?
Is that a piece of wood? Is he cutting it with a saw?
I thought that was a sandwich. What are they?
Yeah, right. So a pen, a notebook, a backpack. That's what we see. On the next one, they are outside, they are on the schoolyard. So now think about your schoolyard, and is there any similarity with this schoolyard?
Who's there?
There's a ground.
Okay. They have like an open area.
Yeah.
Okay. Brianne?
Like the kids, they always like cuddle up in the conference.
They're gathered together.
They are gathered together.
They both don't have grass.
Yeah, we both don't have grass, right? There's no grass.
Grass, just the dirt, right? Dirt. Is there a play structure for the kids to play?
Yeah.
Same here then. Yeah, we have a play structure.
You don't, but you guys are 7th grade, right? Maybe that's why.
It's just barely.
no basketball court.
We have
No
one.
basketball courts.
You have.
They don't have one.
No way, we have one.
Yes, they don't have, right?
They don't have a court.
All right. And what about this one?
He's wearing a mask.
He's wearing a mask, just like you. Do you think this school has lots of masks to be able to give students?
No.
Probably not. Yes?
Just two.
Oh, me?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll go. Okay. He's looking at us and we're looking at him.
No, I can't.
I can kind of.
Yeah.
Maria?
Yeah, he's looking at the photographer,
Doesn't look like he has a
taking the picture. He is studying, right? And the next one, what's the same?
They have sand.
water.
Water, right? You have to keep, now with COVID, we have to wash our hands more frequently. Okay. Do they go to the washroom? Is there a washroom inside the school for them to go wash their hands?
No.
No, probably.
No, okay. So just wrapping this up, okay, from everything you guys told me, okay, I think we have some things that are similar and some things that are different from your school. So no running water, that's different, right? From your school, people have to wash their hands from the bucket. Something that it's similar from your school, the teacher is helping the students to learn just like you have your teachers help. In the classroom, hardly any posters or art or beautiful things on the wall. The classroom looks like it needs painting. I think some of you mentioned that in one of the pictures. Something that it's also, that's the same, it's COVID, right? COVID is bad in Mozambique. So they have to wear masks in school, just like you guys have to wear masks too. The schoolyard, not so many fun things to do. Somebody mentioned a basketball court. There is no basketball court, no grass. play structure, equipment. The classes are not crowded from the pictures we saw, right? The people, that they are poor, or the school, it's not very resourceful in this way. We don't have many books and notebooks and pencils for their basic needs. And they are having a school outside, which sometimes is cool, right? But if you have the classes outside, sitting on the ground all day, it might not feel very comfortable, okay? Now, an important question to you. Why do you think education is important? At the back, somebody just raised a hand, one girl. Yes, at the far back.
It's important. Without education, there wouldn't be any doctors or like police officers and stuff.
Absolutely, right? With no education, there won't be important professions that help us. Yes, at the back, there is a girl raising with a black.
So education is important because it sustains like a future for students, and it lets them live.
Well said. Absolutely, yes. That's the purpose of education, right? And learning to read. Why is it important for us to learn how to read? Yes, there another girl from my right side. Yes, wearing dark glasses, black glasses.
I think it's important because reading is like, okay, so it's like easier to understand things when you're reading it, and it's like faster to learn. So like, yeah, I think we need reading in a lot of things.
Yes, and by reading, we acquired the knowledge, right? Critical thinking. We learn how to think, and what we like, what we don't like. We see things in a different perspective, right? So that's important, and I'm glad you think that way too. So this is what we are going to continue be discussing now. It's about the importance of education. And you were probably aware that education is not only important to us here at Code, but also to the Saskatchewan Council, the SCIC, and other organizations like the United Nations, okay? And they are trying to improve education in so many other challenges around the world. So the United Nations has 17, as you can see here in my picture, from 1 to 17 sustainable development goals that we are all working together to achieve by 2030. And many of these goals, they are connected one to the other. So for example, number 6, clean water and sanitation, is connected with number 3, because by having clean water and sanitation, we are going to have a good health and a good well-being, okay? But today we are going to focus in one of these sustainable goals. Can you guess which one are we going to be focusing now? You can all say which goal.
Education.
Yes, so quality education. This is the goal that Code, the organization that I work for, and my work is devoted to this goal, okay? The quality of education. We work with Mozambique, so Code, one of the works that we do here is to work with different countries. One of the countries is Mozambique, that you already know about. And Code has been working with Mozambique for almost 20 years, okay? And there is still, although we have helped Mozambique a lot throughout these years, there are still a lot to be done there, okay? And our partner in Mozambique is called Associação Progresso. I'm going to show you now some numbers about Mozambique. So just for you to have an idea, only 8% of students complete the secondary school. What does that mean? If you take 100 students, only 8 will complete the secondary school. So it's just a tiny portion that will complete. On top of that, only 1% of primary school teachers have the skills, the knowledge to do their job correctly, okay? So out of 100 teachers, only 1. So part of my work is to help teachers to learn how to teach better so their students will learn better and won't drop out of school, okay? Yes, is there a question, anyone?
So are you a teacher?
Not at the moment, but I was a teacher for many years. I was an English teacher in Brazil, my home country, but not anymore. I work as a project officer. I work helping this project. So I work coordinating the activities that are done in Mozambique and the studies that we are conducting to make sure that the teachers, they get a better training and they can, with the trainings that they get, they can teach better. So because my background is in education, I can kind of help from a distance now because I'm in Canada, but I communicate with our partners in Mozambique and make sure that the training that the teachers are getting, the training is going well, the kids are learning well, and all of that. So I'm still in the education, but not in the classroom anymore. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Oh, yes, there is one more question.
What is your goal? Like, you're like, what are you trying to, what do you hope to achieve?
Yes, there are some numbers in our project. This project, the Better Project, it's been going on now for 7 years, okay? So it's been a while. So the goal is to have student teachers. So when you go when you finish school and you decide what profession you want to take, right? So there are many people who want to become teachers. So we help we call them student teachers. We help the students teachers to get the knowledge that they need to become good teachers. So what kind of knowledge is that? For example, instead of being a teacher who comes to the classroom and lectures on the blackboard to students, we are going to teach this teacher that we have some techniques like, we call it student-centered activities. We develop books. Here at Code, we develop books and we train the teachers to use the books in a more appropriate way, depending on the age, depending on the grade of the students, okay? So in a way that the students can learn better, they can learn better how to read and how to write. So we equip the teachers with the tools they need to better teach the students, okay? And then there are some numbers that we look at some numbers, we observe classes, we make sure that the teachers, they are following what they have learned and so on. Was it clear? Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so moving on. Another set of data for you. So how many children could read well by the end of grade 8? So think about yourselves. You are all on grade 7. Next year, you will be on grade 8. And we expect that by the time you will end grade 8, that all of you can read well, okay? And that's true for us in Canada, like in North America, okay? Before COVID, 93% of the kids, when they finished grade 8, they could read well, which means that out of 10 kids, more than 9 could read well. After COVID, right, lots of changes, remote classes, this number dropped a little bit. So 87% by the end of grade 8 could read well, okay? Which is like if you get 10 kids, a little bit more than 8 could read well. That's our reality in North America, okay? Now in Mozambique, the reality is it's quite different, okay? So before COVID, only 18% of the kids who finished grade 8 could read well. That means that out of 10 kids, almost 2 could read well. And after COVID, this number dropped a little bit to 14%, okay? So this is something that we are looking at in our programs to help with these numbers, okay, to help them achieve a better mark in reading well, because we know how reading is important, okay, for education. Now some other numbers of things that we do here at Code. So during the pandemic, we distribute more than 2,000 books in Mozambique, and in the coming year, we are going to distribute more than 61,000 books, okay? So that's a lot. We are working very hard to make sure that more and more books are distributed and the teachers make good use of these books and the kids can learn more and more. Also last year, during the pandemic, we provided training to 831 teachers, okay? So as I was telling before about the work that we do, we train teachers to better teach their students. And this year, we are training more than 3,000 more teachers. Okay, so we believe that making classrooms a great place to learn is one of our purposes. And before the pandemic, we already worked focusing on books and teachers, great books and great teachers. And we are still doing so. We are still working on improving the training of the teachers on distributing books. But because of the pandemic and because of the situation of so many schools lacking of supplies and everything, we decided that this year we are not going to work distributing only books, okay? So we are going to provide, so there are 62 schools in our project, in this project, and we'll be distributing them a special kit this year, okay? So in our special kit, we will be distributing the books that we normally do, but also with school supplies like pencils, rulers, notebooks, and also hygiene materials like mops, buckets, so that their schools are kept clean, hand sanitizer so they can protect themselves against COVID, masks so they can have a better supply of masks and be able to exchange those masks more often, okay? And what can you do to help us? You can learn more about Mozambique. You can thank your teacher for allowing us to present to you today. You can read more books on Africa by African authors. You can teach your family, tell your family and friends about what you learned today. And also, we raise money for Mozambique in many other causes, okay? And your teacher will provide you, we are providing your teacher with more information in case you want to learn more, okay? So I hope you guys learned a little bit about Mozambique today and about our work and about what we do to improve education over there. And I want to thank you, everyone. Obrigada. And it was very nice being with you today.